The fallen leaves tell a story.
Alright, here's the deal. I have never played a Souls game before, so Elden Ring was very alien to me. I'm used to playing titles like 7 Days to Die, Ark, Subnautica, survival games. I went into this game completely blind as I've never even watched any content of a Souls game before. But I gotta tell you, this game really took me by surprise. I just beat the game, clocking in at 128 hours on my first playthrough. Right there, that's a tremendous amount of hours for a first playthrough. The world has tons of side content, and I told myself, if I'm gonna play this game, I may as well play it all. Not a crazy 100% run, but a vast majority. This niche subgenre of RPGs are known as Souls-likes, and they're regarded as highly challenging games. So I knew going into it, there'll be some serious bosses to beat. To my surprise though, the first boss was the menus. How do I put it on my quick bar? This is so not intuitive. Oh, there's a different menu? What the fuck is this? No, that's not this fucking button. God damn, you're just kidding me. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I'm not gonna use a controller. So why is escape not back? Why is it Q? Wait, how did I switch weapons? Oh, what is happening right now? Oh no, it should be in order, not out of order. Oh my god. No, wait, that's back. It's like a clock. It would start from the top. Okay, not my clock. Oh, is this gonna fuck everything up? I regret everything. Just gotta live with it. I ain't living with this shit. This is a hotbar, but it starts from the left as a clock. I don't know why it isn't just a freaking hotbar, but I know it's because it's for the console peasants. I am the kind of player that dives in head first and then gets annoyed when I'm struggling. I expect to figure it out on the way. I'm not used to playing console ports, and since I'm going keyboard and mouse, it was very confusing to begin with. After getting frustrated to no end with the menus and the keybinds, I instead had a difficult time with combat. It has input delay? Why? Why are things queuing? I'm not used to this at all. It took me back almost 20 years when I was playing Guitar Hero and we had accidentally calibrated the guitar controller wrong. I learned to play the game with input delay. And I play the guitar in real life. It really messed me up. Needless to say, my first 30 minutes in the game wasn't ideal, but I just had to get past it, because I followed the grace and it led me directly to Margit, aka the boss that makes new players quit the game. Rushing here might have been a mistake. Now, I am level 11, attempting this boss, which none of my viewers recommended, but I'm really stubborn. I am here now, I'm not gonna go back. If anything, this is a great way to learn the combat mechanics of the game. I write a passage of sorts. There was so much death. So much death. No! I got too excited. But I was like weirdly loving it. I had forgotten I fell in love with gaming because of the challenge. So after 5 friggin' hours of relentlessly trying to kill Margit, I succeeded. It was the best feeling I have felt in years. In that moment, I felt drugged, extremely high in adrenaline, high on the game. I get it now. This is why people like these ridiculously difficult games. This fight definitely helped me get a rough but very fruitful learning experience. From this point, combat was easier, I understood mechanics, my enjoyment for the game grew rapidly. This game is really challenging, but is it for everyone to enjoy? Would somebody that's never played a Souls-like and is not a masochist would like to try Elden Ring? Here are my reasons I think you should. Firstly, the open world is incredibly impressive. Art and level design is gorgeous, and even though it takes certain story bosses to progress to areas of the map, the world is truly an open world. There's no zones that lock you out based on levels or items. As you progress, the areas become more difficult, but not impossible, meaning you could beat the game as a level 1 character, but of course not recommended for any sane person. You're very much rewarded by exploring, from finding rare loot to whole areas and bosses to storylines hidden away in the world. There are a whopping 165 bosses in the game, but I believe that less than 15 are actually needed to finish the main story. Meaning the game is far from linear, with tons of side quests and storylines to immerse yourself in. In order to not miss half of the content in Elden Ring, you do have to pay attention. One thing that really threw me off: there's no quest log or quest markers in your menus or on the map. The respawn point, the Grace, will point you in a direction, but only for the main quest. You actually have to listen to the NPC you're talking to, which impressively makes the quests, world exploration, and general feel of the game way more immersive than actually any other game I've ever played before. It's very refreshing to have a game not hold your hand every step of the way and spoon feed you information. The tutorial is very brief, then you're on your own. Itemization is fantastic. There's so many fun and unique weapons in the game that play differently with their own mechanics and effects. Status effects can be a huge part of your damage and work wonders on certain bosses, which makes them seem very OP, but in general most weapons are very balanced, so when starting out, use whatever fits your playstyle more. With that said, gear isn't that important. Weapons are more important than armor, but this game rewards you more for your skill as a player, which is by far one of the most satisfying things about Elden Ring. Your experience matters way more than the experience of your character. Practice and knowledge of mechanics matter more when progressing through the game and fighting bosses. Having high damage helps, but knowing when to dodge and when to deal damage is vital. Zones and monsters sort of have hidden levels, meaning the gear you loot doesn't scale with the new areas and enemies. All weapons in Elden Ring has a base level 0. You have to use stones to upgrade them. But they're not everywhere, and the higher level you need, the more rare and hidden they are from the player. This also means you can't push forward into new zones and instantly loot high level weapons and get massively stronger, thus rendering previous zones super easy. This is a great mechanic that makes the world feel way more open to you. When it comes to armor, it affects your weight, but once you've chosen a weight class, you tend to stick to it. As long as you can offset the extra weight, you can get pretty tanky while still being nimble. Play what you like and what you think looks cool. You want your guy to be cool, right? I mean, look at this chonker. Seeing how many different weapons there are in the game, I'm positive there's an incredible amount of different builds you can do. If you beat the game, you also have the option to do another playthrough with the same character called New Game Plus. Bosses will have more damage and more HP, which continues to scale every time you beat it. This means replayability is through the roof. You can even do restrictions for yourself to further increase playtime, such as no help from summons in boss fights, which I roughly did half the time. Speaking of boss fights, bosses are the meat of the game. It's where you find the most satisfaction and frustration. There are some easy bosses and there are some seriously insane bosses, but those are the fights that will give you the rush when you finally beat them. Spirit Caller. Oh, this guy's gonna be so easy. Like, look at this guy, he barely does damage. Ah! The most satisfying moment playing Elden Ring was to beat Melania. It was by far the most difficult for me, clocking in at 9+ hours. The only thing I truly didn't like in Elden Ring was the input delay. You do get used to it, but it can be very frustrating at times when you accidentally queue an action at an important moment of a boss fight. But other than that, I can't really say much else bad about Elden Ring. So in conclusion, if you've not guessed it yet, I absolutely loved playing through Elden Ring for the first time. From the world building, to the itemization, to the combat, to the overall amazing feel of the game. I've actually never played anything like it, and I'm sure there won't be anything topping it anytime soon. So I think you should definitely give Elden Ring a chance, especially if the thought crossed your mind. This is one of those games that are 100% worth the price tag. Lastly, there is a DLC coming out set to release June 21st, Right now, it's the perfect time to get into Elden Ring. That is all, folks. See you on the next one. Dude! Look how much damage I did! I haven't used the flask yet! God damn it, this is it. Don't choke! Don't choke on that cock! Damn it! Damn it!